Hi and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? The expression on candidates' faces usually tells me that most people don't think past 5 days, let alone 5 years, and we're actually all guilty of this. Future-orientated questions actually test your ambition, and this is really what the employer is looking for. Step one in this question is never actually say that you want the interviewer's job. So that's number one. That always kind of makes interviewers can feel uncomfortable, and while it represents ambition, it can be be perceived as being quite aggressive. So just be aware of that one. There's nothing wrong with ambition, it's just the way you actually deliver it. So step one is avoid saying, I want your job. What the interviewer is looking for is, as I say, thinking that you've actually thought about where it is that you want to be in 5 years' time. What it's not is they don't want to see a detailed step-by-step plan for the next 5 years. They don't want an 800-page guide on what it is that you want to do. What they're looking for is just an overview, just a summary. I would say a minute summary of what it is that you want from your career, what it is you want from that organization, and addressing the question, where do you actually see yourself in 5 years' time? So what I'm going to do now is give you two different examples. The first example is going to be a poor answer to the question. And obviously the second example is going to give you a little bit more detail on how to answer the question correctly. So what we're doing now is we're going to use a sales example, and we're also going to concentrate on how to answer the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So a poor answer would sound something like this. In the next 5 years, I see myself in a management position. I want to lead a team and maybe work abroad. I want to achieve targets and help my team progress. Now, the reason why it's poor is because it's just generic. It's just another answer just that we get so often, where it's just off the top of someone's head. It's just, yeah, in 5 years' time, I want to be in a management position. Okay, that's fine, but how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? What are the next steps? How are you going to achieve that goal? And as I say, we're not looking for an 800-page guide. We're looking for kind of maybe 4 or 5 different steps of how you plan on achieving that goal within 5 years' time. So how are you going to answer the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So next we're going to concentrate on how to answer this question, a good example. And what I'm going to do is concentrate on a sales job. Again, if you just follow the same principles as if you're applying for a job in pharmaceuticals, if you're applying for a job in IT, if you're applying for a job in retail. So the job example that I'm going to use is somebody applying for a sales position and somebody who wants to be in a management position in 5 years' time. So the answer would sound something like this. In the next 5 years, I want to be in a management position, leading my own team and working towards challenging targets. I'll be earning a good salary and I'm naturally driven by achieving financial targets. To achieve that goal, my shorter-term objectives are to, number one, establish myself within your team, learn as much as I can about the products and services in order to maximize all selling opportunities. Step two is I want to understand obviously the commission structure in more detail to ensure that I achieve targets and earn the most that I can. Step three, I want to make contact with all my new accounts, understand all my customers, their needs, and I want to develop plans for them for the next 2 years. Step four, after consistently achieving targets over a prolonged period of time, I will put together a training plan with my manager at the time, understanding the skills that I would need to develop in order to achieve my target of leading and developing my own team. By breaking down the 5 years in smaller, more manageable chunks, I believe it provides me with both the clarity and direction needed to achieve this goal. Hopefully you can see the difference there between a poor answer and a good answer. You saw the poor answer was just generic. Yeah, in 5 years' time, I want to manage a team. That's great, but it's the same answer we get all the time. But you can see from the second answer that the person or the example in this tutorial, it's just going in 5 simple steps. So it's just saying, I want to establish myself first. I want to hit all my targets. I want to make sure that I maximize all selling opportunities. I want to sit down with my manager and ensure that I've got the right skills. So what do I need to actually do? And all it is just 4 or 5 simple little steps which are providing the interviewing panel with some demonstration that you've actually thought about where it is that you want to be in 5 years. You know, what this question isn't looking for is where you want to be in 5 years with your music career, or with your partner, or your relationships, or with your friends. Where you see yourself in 5 years' time is specifically for that particular job, for that particular career. So make sure that you concentrate on the career and nothing else. And to recap, it's not about, as I say, providing an 800-page guide or giving a step-by-step process. It's just kind of 3 or 4 simple steps, or maximum 5. So if you're going to talk about where you want to be in 5 years' time, maybe say year 1, I want to be here. Step 2, year 2, I want to be here. Step 3, here. Step 4, step 5. I'd say a maximum of 5 steps. And it's just demonstrating to the interviewing panel that you've actually thought about where it is that you want to be. So you actually answer the question properly, precisely, and, as I say, with a bit of passion and with a bit of flair. So hopefully that gives you some more information to go away and prepare. So if you get answered that question, or if you want to practice, just go away and get 5 simple steps of where you want to be in 5 years' time.